What is up, Super Tubers? It is D here at Geekdom, and with this video, I'm going to bring you 5 extremely obscure Dragon Ball facts. Only the tippy top of the fan base are familiar with some of these. Some are a little less obscure than others, but we're going to get to it here. But before we begin, I just want to say that this video was inspired by Expert Games' video on his channel. I'm doing my best to do an impression of his Australian slang and deep voice and failing miserably. Go check out his channel, the link is down below. Seriously though, I wish I had that voice. I'd be getting 10 times more women than I already get, which would put me at like, I don't know, Whis' power level. No, anyways, let's move on with the list here. Number 1 out of 5 here. Did you know Dragon Ball Z Battle of Gods actually received additional funding from the Japanese government in 2012/2013 when it was first being made? Toei received 50 million yen from Uni Japan, a non-profit organization under the supervision of the Japanese government created for Japanese filmmaking. As a side note, did you know that Battle of Gods was the first movie in history entirely produced by a Japanese studio, shot in IMAX? So in the record books, the first ever Japanese IMAX movie will be Dragon Ball Z. That's pretty awesome. The second of the 5 obscure Dragon Ball facts is about Enmadayo, aka Great King Yama. The character of Enmadayo, aka Great King Yama, was based off of the Hindu god of death Yamaraja, whom was also spoken of in Buddhism, which is a very large religion in Japan. And that's why you see different takeoffs of King Yama in other manga and anime like Yu Yu Hakusho. Yama is referred to as the Lord of Death, and the word Enma is a literal translation of Yama, which is why even if you watch the subtitled version of Dragon Ball Z, you'll hear the characters say Enmadayo, but the subtitles say King Yama. Stephen J. Simmons, who writes the scripts for the subtitled version of Dragon Ball and Z, decided to honor the source with this one. Number 3 in the 5 obscure things that you didn't know about Dragon Ball is about a man named Budiyasa. In chapter 32 of the Dragon Ball manga, there's a mysterious spectator with a strange haircut and creepy smile staring at the reader, whose shirt sleeve features the name Budiyasa. As the story goes, Akira Toriyama and his wife were vacationing in Indonesia, and a man named Wayan Budiyasa was kind enough to give them a tour of the island. Toriyama was so pleased with Wayan Budiyasa's hospitality that he drew him into his manga, and he is now immortalized forever in Dragon Ball. Alright, so number 4. Did you know that in Japan, up until 2003's release of the original Japanese Dragon boxes, you could not purchase Dragon Ball or Dragon Ball Z on DVD or on VHS, with the exception of the movies, anywhere in Japan without importing it? That's right, folks. Those of us in North America actually got Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z on home video before they did, and many of the Japanese fans, for years before the Dragon boxes, and even after, because of how rare they were and how quickly they became out of print, would actually import DVDs from North America, the Funimation DVDs that were cheaper and that were out there and that were pretty much the best version they could get at the time, into Japan. So even the Japanese have taken from us as well. Prior to that, no VHS tapes either. You had to have seen Dragon Ball Z on television. You had to have recorded it on VHS at home. You had to have got it, bootlegged or whatever from the streets. But there was no official release of the Dragon Ball TV episodes until the 2003 Japanese Dragon boxes from Pony Canyon. So trip out on that one. And our last and most obscure fact of Dragon Ball that you may or may not know: how old is Gohan? Well, most fans of the manga and anime are very familiar with the fact that he tells Bulma right at the beginning of Dragon Ball Z that he is 4 years old. In the original Ocean dub of Dragon Ball Z, Gohan tells Bulma he's 5, but of course this is incorrect and it was corrected in the future dubs. However, is he really 4? Well, what may shock you is that in the original first run of Dragon Ball in Weekly Shonen Jump back in October of 1988, Gohan says he is 3 years old. Not 4, 3. The very next week, he was referred to as being 4. We're kind of unsure as to why this change was actually made, but we do know that it was never seen again in any of the manga reprints, including the collected manga volumes, Kanzenban, Tankoban, 3-in-1s, Viz, or any of the other manga and anime. You only saw it in the original Shonen Jump volume/chapter when it was out. So there's a picture right there, as you can see. Thanks for watching the video. If you want more obscure Dragon Ball knowledge and some detailed badass content, so hit that subscribe button and come back and I'll be giving you the good stuff. But until then, I hope you have a great day and I'll catch your ass down the road. Remember to subscribe and also follow me on Twitter and other social media. Check out my website and communicate with me directly.